you had to suffer for 6 miles, keep cruising, you only have to suffer for 5, you know, and I got to 5 miles to go, and someone said 18 seconds. Now I'm starting to feel good. So I'm like, wow, I've sort of cruised for 5 miles. Cruised is the wrong word, but I'd taken the pressure off, you know, the chase.
And you'd fueled up.
And I'd fueled up and really taken my time through those aid stations. Got my special needs, and you know, 5 to go, it was 18 seconds, and then with 4 to go, it was 12 seconds. I'm like, mate, this is good. And here now, lots of people were starting to, a lot of Germans, you know, a lot of people starting to come around. There's all the motorbikes and cars, everyone's there, and I could hear them behind me. And I knew he was there, and we had, it's between 4 and 3 miles at 12 seconds, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to force this mile. If I was just, you know, you try and think what you would be doing if you were this guy. And you've been chasing for 23 miles, you'd want to get across. That's what I want. I was this guy, I want to get across there, that's the destination. You know, he's going to force this last mile to get there. You've got too many people yelling for him, get up, you know, you can get him. So I picked that mile up, and it was definite for me. I definitely said, you know what, I'm prepared to suffer from here home, I'm going to pick it up a little bit. And he did, he forced that mile to get across to me, and I remember that being definitely a harder effort for me in that mile, and I thought, well, he's caught that. He took 6 seconds out of me the mile before, and he's taken 12 seconds out of me in this mile, and I've picked it up. He's got to hurt here. And when he caught me, he stayed there. And I think it was a relief. He's like, okay, I'm on. And I really wanted to be the alpha male, you know, like, you know, stay one step in front of him, like, hey buddy, you know, this ain't finished. This ain't, you know, but I have immense respect for this guy, like, great guy, him and his brother, you know, immense respect, very close friends off the course. But you know, you're running for the world title, and you know, I've been here too many times to know that don't finish till the pier. Yeah, I really wanted to assert that dominance, that experience.
If it was Chris McCormick catching Andreas Raylor, is there any way in the world that you go side by side?
Oh, no way, man. No, like you've got to, I think. But I'm not knowing because at that time when he called me and he didn't go past me, I was prepared to pick up the pace if he come, and I was always going to stay that shoulder width in front, not quite let him run side by side. You know, that annoying person you run with in training that always runs half a step in front of you, you get frustrated. I wanted to be that frustrating guy to him, and had that been me catching Andreas, I would have forced to get in front of him. You know, forced, hey, I'm the dominant male here. You know, I'm the alpha male in this relationship that we're having for the next 3 months. This is my
Dr. Phil.
And yeah, I felt that. And I also felt the pressure that the Germans have, man. Like the German nation embraces this sport, and they really put a lot of pressure on Andreas. He was the king. He couldn't be. I'd done many interviews with the Germans in the lead up to this event, and he was basically unbeatable in their eyes. And I kept saying, because I know that, you know, all the pros say we don't have to listen to what anyone else says. It's rubbish. We listen to what Rowie says. And I knew that Andreas would watch my interviews. And I said, Andreas hasn't had a great back end to a marathon yet. You know, he's a phenomenal athlete, but if there is a weakness in this guy's arsenal, he's new to the marathon game. He hasn't run a fast back end. And at that point, I remember thinking, I hope you watch that interview. You know, I really hope that that's a doubt, because I'd had those doubts in my career, the doubts that worry me.
And you really found something special in mile 23.
Yeah, mile 23. He called me. I turned to him and shook his hand. I said, look, mate, no matter what happens, again, I'm trying to look like I'm doing this easy, but I'm not. But best of luck, mate. Best person win. You're a champion, no matter what the result. You know, he's like, thank you, Macca. We didn't say another word then, and we're ticking along, and it was just insane. The people, insane. Like, and it's the point of being a historian of the event. Watching the Iron War millions and millions of times, you come up to Mark and Dave Hill, where Mark Allen made that with Dave Scott in the 1989 Ironman, and I remember thinking, this is where Mark and Dave made we're running together. This is cool, no matter what happens. This is a phenomenal race. This will be great coverage on NBC.
Where's the air conditioner?
This is going to be phenomenal. And then I remember thinking, oh, man, concentrate, don't lose it. You know, focus. And it's not Mark and Dave, it's you and Andreas. This race is won at the pier, and I made this move on the hill and panicked a little bit because still 2 miles from home, and I gapped him very, very quickly, and I was very shocked at that. I went, wow, that was a move, but it wasn't a committed move, and I've got the gap here, so I'm going to hold this pace and make him have to run on. If he wants to have a run at this title, he's going to have to run back onto this gap I've made. And it's only, a quarter mile up the top of this hill, and I'd probably run him out to about 6 or 7 seconds. Now, mind you, it would have taken him a mile before to take 6 or 7 seconds out of me. So I'm doing the math in my head. Being an accountant, I try math.
Oh, good.
Try mathily. But if he catches me a quarter mile, it's really 24 seconds he's had to run out of me. That's a good thing if he gets onto me. He's got to pay. This is the business end. And of course the Germans, come on Andreas, get on him. I'm like, oh, this is good buddy, come on, run up. And he did. He's a champion. He ran back up, and as he caught me, we crested just before the crest of Killarney Hill. And he caught me and he took a deep breath, like, I'm back on. It was like a relief. I'm back on, back in the hunt. And it's like, okay, and I was prepared to sprint this guy on a leafy drive, but we crested and turned down Killarney, and no 2 men have ever run down Killarney together. So I remember thinking, this is going to be pretty cool. And we're coming down, and there's an aid station for the people coming up the hill. Not really an aid station for the guys coming down, and he started yelling for Coke and water, and I remember looking at him, wow, you're going to get a drink here? I dare you, you know what I mean? Because if you do, I'm out of here. And I sort of baited him in. I tried to, we were running on the right-hand side because you cut the tangent at the top, so the aid station's on the left-hand side of the road, and you cut that tangent. And I sort of tried to push him across to bait him to take this drink. I dare you, mate. I pushed him across, and you've got the people holding the cup, so if you can push people close enough, there's not much room for you. And I sort of forced him across, and he put the hands up, and the minute they went up, I darted down the outside, and I think by the time he grabbed those cups and looked up, I don't know how I've seen the video, but I had probably 5 metres. But that was it. That was my run at it. I thought, mate, not sprinting. This is your go. You have to run as hard as you can, 1 mile. And it's amazing what you think in your head. You're like, 6 minutes. You've done this a million times. Like, come on, just 6 minutes of your life. Like, nothing. It's not even add to the Seinfeld show. And that was it. I was pumped. I ran down the hill, and I knew that the difficult part at that end of a run, well, most races, is when you've got that leg turnover on a downhill, and you hit the bottom, and you have to run on the flat. But, the lactate and bogginess in the field, I had to commit to that flat section. I knew that was going to be very, very, very painful, and I did. I just started pumping the arms. Now, at that time, I thought I was Usain Bolt. I thought I was absolutely flying. I've seen the coverage, and it looks like slow motion, but yeah, I started cramping. That was the thing. My stomach muscles were cramping, and I'm starting to cramp in my hip flexors, and I was like, oh man, not now, I was just sticking my hands up there going, I don't care, just get to the finish line. I don't care if in the med tent for 2 days, just hang on here. And I was in a lot of agony along the straight there, really, really forcing it and committed, and the TV camera guys there, there's a guy, Eric Gilson, who's a lovely guy, and they're not supposed to talk to you at all, but I've been there for so many years, and I get so emotional. And I've said, Eric, where is he? And they're told they're not allowed to say anything. There's no splits, and he looked up to me and said, Macca, I'm not allowed to tell you anything that I can't see him. What? How far is he? He's like, can't see him. But I was too scared to turn around, I'm like, oh, please don't blow this, Eric, maybe. And I started trying to hide behind the amateurs, like ducking to make sure he couldn't see me. And when I made the right turn, you have about where Paula Newby-Fraser collapsed just before she won. I made the right turn. I got to the bottom of that hill, which is the leafy drive, mate. That is it. That's our Wimbledon. That is hallowed to Champs-Élysées. And that's when I had my first look, and he hadn't crested the top. I was 300 metres comfortably in front of him then, and that was showtime. And I've never in my life been as happy as I was in that moment, because it was, and I got to really enjoy it. I compare that to 07, where I was in tears and sobbing away, and oh my God, this year it was beautiful. It was 500 metres of, how do you like that? It was very, very satisfying.
And the banyan tree is how far?
Yeah, the banyan tree is 42 seconds from the banyan tree to the finish line, and I only know that because I camp, I'd been training with Terenzo, and, I'm always saying, what if this happens in the race, and, he's such a good guy, mate, and if we're together, and we're running, fantasising about we're both of us having perfect races, I said, if we're coming together, mate, I know you're the young buck, and I'm a little older than you, and we'll run together, and when we get to that banyan tree, we'll shake hands, and it's game on, and so Terenzo and I had practiced this in training so many times, sprinting, come on old timer, and I knew it was 42 seconds from there to the finish line, and I remember as I was when Andreas had caught me, that was where I was considering making my move. I was going to come down Polani Hill behind him so he couldn't see me. I've done a similar thing in Wildflower to Nico Lanos, put yourself in a position where you can see everything and they can see nothing, so they have to make the move to break you, and I was prepared to commit from the banyan tree because it's still a long way out. It's surprising, we'd sprinted it many times and you're pumping your arms going, where's the finish line? So I knew it was still a big commitment, watching him make the move there, and I knew it was going under that Wheaties thing, it was like, got yous. All the people that said I couldn't win it.
So that was the feeling coming across the second time. More personal this time?
Oh, 100% more personal. Like it was just, I just felt, I was so happy with the 4th place and the year before, like ridiculously happy, and I thought no one had respected that performance. I felt that everybody in the sport was only watching results. They weren't watching races. They weren't appreciating phenomenal performances. And I think that's what I've done in my career. I watch athletes, and I find trends in their performances and odd races that they don't have. That's not normal. And I felt very, very happy that, that because most of the sports are so result driven, that they're going to look at this result and now they're going to probably appreciate, 9 result. Mate, well actually, you had a good